So, I mean, it's all fine and dandy when life is going perfect, when you have like your routine set and everything is running. Like, I get it. I believe in that. But what about when everything goes sideways? What about when you have to empty out your teeny tiny little laundry room full of stuff that just has appeared this year and now it's taken up your whole home? But then you can't even deal with it because then a pipe busts in your basement and you have water pouring out everywhere. And then you go to Lowe's and they don't even have the parts you need to fix it. So now you're in a whole new problem of how are we even going to fix this? But then you have like a whole farm that you're creating and you have things that need to be tended to, and kids just started homeschool and all of the other pieces of life. How on earth do we keep up and balance the homemaking and all of the little daily lovely things we have to do when your life is going sideways? And is it even possible to like find the loveliness in life when all of this is happening? I'm so excited you guys are here to hang out with me today. We figured this week we would talk a lot about the elusive thing we call balance, because it is so difficult to find and it's so overwhelming in life when things are out of whack. It's so difficult, and I think it's so difficult because it isn't a one-size-fits-all, and it isn't something that we complete once and then we're done. We have it and we don't have to worry about it. So I want to talk today about keeping the home, being homemakers, having just a put together house in general, regardless of anything. That can be so difficult, and especially when you start adding things onto your plate. I'll use myself as an example. We've been really busy. We've had a lot of outside things going on. We've had a lot of other commitments and things that we've been working on. That means that like keeping up on homey stuff, I have not been doing a great job with lately. We do okay, but it hasn't been great. I have not been diligent to really minimize the stuff coming into our house. Honestly, all year, it's been a struggle. We started off the year dealing with a lot of hard issues for our family. We've kind of done okay, but a lot of things have fallen to the wayside. Then you add on top of that things like we had to do a massive grocery shopping order today because we were out of absolutely everything. So I got in like $270 worth of groceries this morning that had to be organized, put away, the fridge cleaned out, the pantry organized, all of the pieces like that. We just started back to homeschool, so this week has felt so busy. You guys can go back and see exactly what we're doing for our homeschool if you're interested. Even keeping it simple, trying to get back into that rhythm and routine, it's an adjustment. We've been dealing with that. We had a pipe in our basement bust yesterday, and we keep working on it and tinkering with it, and it's still raining down water, and our local hardware store does not have the pieces we need to fix it. So we're having to just keep tending to it and dealing with it and mopping up water and handling all of the things until the new week begins and we can finally get it all fixed and put together. But it can be difficult. It can be difficult when you have all these pieces, all these things going on, and it becomes very, very overwhelming. And then you add on top of it for us, like our homesteady things. We've got 30 chickens to care for. We have our turkey. We have the Great Pyrenees that we're still boundary training here to protect the property. And we just brought in our precious sheep, Ruth, with another one that's on the way. So there's just lots and lots of things. And so when you try to find this balance, you try to deal with this stuff, it can be so much. So today's big focus was to declutter and clean our laundry room. Our goal with our girls, with our homeschool that I shared with you guys last week, we decided to make it our goal and priority this month as part of our actual homeschool plan to deep minimize and deep clean the entire house. We started with the two worst rooms in the house, and that was the girls' room and the laundry room. Any of you who are in our co-op, the HMH Academy, you guys know exactly what our laundry room looks like because 2 out of 3 of my children do their classes from in the laundry room. And it has been a nightmare zone. A nightmare zone because that's really the only place that we can store stuff in our house. And so all year long, random things just make it in there that I just don't have time to get to, or I don't even realize someone's put it in there. It was out of control. So we pulled everything out here. We went through absolutely every item. We cleaned the laundry room really well, and then we organized it and put it back together. That means now that I have a car full of things that need to go be dropped off to the Goodwill store. It means that we have a bunch of stuff that needs to go out for a bonfire because it just needs to get burnt and dealt with. And it means a lot of more like tool type things got moved onto a shelf down in the basement where it should be and not filling up our laundry room. Finding this balance is difficult. And I know for me, the things are out of balance, and that can be very overwhelming, very frustrating. And I feel like I either just want to like say forget it and ignore it all, or I feel the need to go like turbo style with it and think that I can do everything at once. And neither of those are balanced approaches. So if we're struggling in whatever season of life we're in, be it a new baby, maybe you've been sick, maybe you're like us and you just have a bunch of things going on and you're trying to find the new balance for it all, whatever it may be, here are my top 5 tips, preaching to the choir, that I want to make sure that I remember for finding a perfect balance, a true, real balance in my homemaking. The first point I want to mention here in this quest to find this like perfect balance to always having a clean, tidy home and being on top of your game and having everything put together is, guys, let's be honest. There is no perfect. I think first and foremost, before we break down any of this, we have to realize that there is no such thing as perfection. And that's a really important thing to say. I will just say this stood out to me, and it's such a simple, small thing, but for me it was kind of a reassuring and encouraging thing that I've stayed at a millionaire's home, the most beautiful, gorgeous home that you've ever seen. It's literally something out of like a TV show, okay? So think of the most beautiful Los Angeles millionaire home. We stayed there. We have good friends, and it was so amazing to stay in their home, and we had a wonderful time. But you know what really stood out to me? Is even though they live in this multi-million-dollar home, they themselves are multi-millionaire. I mean, a life that I will never live, I will never understand, okay? We're very different worlds, couldn't be further apart. Even in that most ideal situation, where you have all the money you could possibly need, they literally employed a staff of housekeepers strictly just to go around and make sure all the things in their home were being done. And guess what? There were still cobwebs places. There were still smudges and scuffs and things like that, because perfect doesn't exist. Now, there's things that are maybe better or more put together or maybe a higher quality. But this elusive idea of perfection that I think we kind of believe in because we see curated feeds and we see what people want us to see, and not everybody is willing to completely air their dirty laundry to the internet like us. Not everybody wants to do that. People like to present the best version, and that's fine. That's great. That works for you. Wonderful. But for all of us, let's remember that there's no such thing as perfect. So this perfect balance, this perfectly clean house, this perfectly upkept whatever, it doesn't actually exist. When trying to seek balance in life, when trying to put together our homes, our homeschools, our whatever it is that we have going on, we have to remember that every yes we give is a no to a list of other things. And pausing to remember that, I think, is really, really helpful. Every time I say yes to being present in my children's education, every time I say yes to going further into this journey of homesteading that we feel the Lord calling us on, every time I say yes to going out for an evening walk with my family or snuggling on the couch, saying yes to finally deep cleaning our laundry room and going through worlds and worlds of junk that has needed our attention probably for at least the past 6 months. Every yes that I give is a no to a whole list of other things. I said no to many things today so that we could finally tackle the laundry room. But I've been saying no to the laundry room to keep up with these things, to plant flowers, to get a sheep, to raise chickens, to homeschool my kids, to whatever it is. So remember when you do that yes, being able to say yes to things is great, but you have to remember that you're saying no to a list of other things for every one yes you give. So I think that's really powerful in the way of thinking about that, taking that to prayer and saying, should I give my yes to this? Should I say yes to going out and doing this, to being here for this, to whatever it may be? Now, you might be like, yes, this is a sacrifice, but this is important, and this is where the Lord is desiring our family to be at this time, or whatever it may be. That's great. But every yes is no to a whole list of things over here. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times, and I'm going to keep saying it. Simplify. Simplify. Stuff, commitments, just expectations even of yourself that you think you have to meet. The more we simplify, the easier it is to find a line of balance. I'm not saying it's perfection. I'm not saying be a minimalist and your life will be perfect, because that's not it. But I'm saying that if we understand that perfection is an illusion, it doesn't really exist, the more I simplify my commitments that I have, the expectations I'm holding of myself and what I think our home should be and what my role and duties and how I'm doing things should really look, the more I simplify the stuff that I'm having to keep up with, the more I do these things, the better I'm going to be able to balance these things. I know for us, a cluttered home really stresses me out. It affects my kids. We don't like that. We like to keep our house kind of this general level. Yesterday night, we pulled out all of the stuff. And so all of the stuff from the laundry room sat out here overnight. And all morning before we had really gotten going, our whole household was like, I could not live this way. Like, this is making us all so anxious and so just like, because there's stuff everywhere. We don't like that. We like it simple. The more I simplify, the less commitments, the less expectations, the less things like that we do, it means I can focus on here. It means that it becomes really simple to keep a balance of a tidy home, a nurturing environment, a space that really nourishes our family. Simplicity wins. Every time, I promise you, it is such a key factor in trying to find balance in all areas of our lives, but especially in keeping the home. My fourth point here, you guys, done is better than perfect. Don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has its own worries, right? Done wins the day. Did I get everything perfect today? No. I'll be honest and say I was having a little bit of a anxiety-ridden freak out as the more we were cleaning in the laundry room, the more I was noticing other places around the house that really need to be addressed. But I didn't need to freak out. I didn't need to get it all perfect. What I needed to do was complete the task at hand. Is the laundry room 100% perfect? No, but it's done. Are there things that I would still like to go through? Are there maybe quite a few things that the kids brought in that I was like, really, we need to keep all of this? Today's maybe not the day for this. Are there some things that need to be addressed and things that I could still get to? Yeah, of course, that's life, okay? Our work is frustrating. It is what it is. Welcome to living in a sinful, fallen world. It is what it is. Done is better than perfect. I don't need to sit here and worry about what isn't perfect. I don't need to sit here and freak out about my pantry that hasn't been completely tackled yet, or the stuff outside that hasn't been finished, or whatever it is that needs to get to. The fact that I have a million loads of computer work that I haven't even looked at today doesn't matter, because I completed my task. I did what I needed to do. I'm focusing on my priorities. Now I can finish hanging out and chit-chatting with you guys a little bit. I can go sit down and have a meal that my husband is cooking for our family, and we can go out and enjoy a beautiful walk with the puppies and the sheep while we listen to the chickens little cluck around, and I just can soak in all the blessing that the Lord has given us today. Because you know what? When we get to tomorrow, it's gonna have its own troubles and its own things and its own whatever, and we'll get through them and we'll thank the Lord for the blessings tomorrow, because today I did what I could do. I give thanks to the Lord for it, and now I can soak up all the blessings that I do have all around. And finally here, you can only do what you can do. We should not be lazy, no. If your problems and your imbalance in your home is because you're not getting up and taking care of the things that you need to get up and take care of, then that's on you, and you need to address that, okay? So if there's things that are out of whack and not in balance because you're not doing what you should be doing, well, let this be a kick in the pants and go do the things you need to do, because we've all been there, we've all done that. I ignored that laundry room all year long, and guess what? It became this massive monster that finally had to be tackled, and really it's my own fault that it got to where it did, right? I needed to go address it. At the same time, we aren't omnipresent beings. I can't be everywhere. I can't do everything. I can't take care of every little bit of every little thing and have everything perfect and organized and sorted through and minimal and clean and all the things. We can only do what we can do. And so if anything, let your need for rebalancing this area of your life be a time to hold up the mirror, take it to prayer, and let it be a heart check. Why are these things off balance? Some things are out of our control. They are what they are. That's what happens. That's fine. Now it's our job to say, okay, we're here. How do we address it? How do we move forward? Sometimes though, when we hold that mirror up and we have a good heart check and a good time in prayer with it, we go, man, I'm kind of to blame. I'm the one who needs to do it. And I'm not here to beat myself up. That's okay. But now I say, all right, let me grab that responsibility and go get to work. Let's get these things in order. Let's get these things balanced. Let's build up the home and move forward doing a little bit better than we were before. So friends, those would be my top 5 tips that I myself am working through and reminding myself of as we look at how do we bring balance to our jobs as keepers at home. How do we find that balance to life in all of the things that we have going on in whatever season of life that we're in, while still needing to build up our homes, to tend to our families, to deal with the chores and the meals and all of the things that we need to do. Because homemaking is important. Homemaking is such a special and deep thing that if you guys have been joining us for Biblical Womanhood, you know we've been digging all into it. If you haven't joined us already, you got to go down there and get the link for that, because it's been such a great time. But I'm praying that this can be a little bit of encouragement for you in whatever season of life that you're going through, that you can really think about this. Put these steps to action and move forward and get a little bit closer to that line of balance in your life. So thank you all for hanging out with me today. Of course, we're going to have another video right back here tomorrow. So I can't wait to see you guys then. Be sure to subscribe, turn on your little bell notifications so you don't miss out. And if you want a little something else to watch along these lines, I think you're going to love this video right up here. I'll see you all over there and then back here tomorrow. Bye, friends.